In the years after World War II, Britain was exhausted. Cities lay in ruins. Food was rationed. Jobs were scarce. Families dreamed of something better, but didn't know where to find it. At the same time, on the other side of the world, Australia had a problem of its own. A vast country, a small population, and a growing fear that without people, Australia could not protect or develop itself. From that moment, one of the most ambitious migration programs in history was born, the story of the 10 Pound Poms. In 1945, the Australian government launched an assisted migration scheme aimed mainly at British citizens. The offer sounded almost too good to be true. For just £10, adults could travel from Britain to Australia. Children often traveled for free. The rest of the cost? Paid by the Australian government. The idea was simple: populate the nation, build the workforce, strengthen Australia's future. Between 1945 and 1972, more than 1 million British migrants arrived under this scheme. They became known as the 10 Pound Poms, a nickname that would follow them for decades. Post-war Britain was struggling. Homes had been bombed. Industries were slow to recover. Food rationing continued well into the 1950s. For many families, Australia felt like hope wrapped in sunshine. Government posters promised endless jobs, warm weather, affordable homes, a fresh start, far away from war memories. For parents, it meant opportunity. For children, it meant adventure. Many sold everything they owned, believing they would never return. Most migrants traveled by ship, a journey that took 5 to 6 weeks. Cabins were cramped, seas were rough, but spirits were high. Friendships were formed on deck. Children ran freely. Adults imagined the life waiting for them at the other end. As ships docked in Fremantle, Melbourne, or Sydney, crowds gathered, some cheering, some nervous, all uncertain. Australia looked different, smelled different, felt hotter than anything they had known. And that was just the beginning. For many 10 Pound Poms, the dream met reality fast. Instead of homes, families were placed in migrant hostels, former army barracks, or basic accommodation with shared bathrooms and thin walls. Privacy was rare. Summers were brutal, and accents made them stand out immediately. Some Australians welcomed them warmly. Others weren't so kind. Many migrants were told, "You're not really Australian." Jobs were often hard, physical, and far from what had been promised. Yet despite this, most stayed. They worked. They adapted. They endured. Australia in the 1950s was rougher and more informal than Britain. The heat was relentless, the slang unfamiliar, the distances shocking. Many women struggled with isolation. Many men struggled with expectations. Homesickness was common, but returning home was expensive and shameful. Some families did return to Britain feeling misled, but most stayed, determined to make the sacrifice worth it. Over time, they built communities, friendships, and lives. The impact of the 10 Pound Poms cannot be overstated. They helped build roads, railways, and factories, grow cities and suburbs, strengthen Australia's economy, shape modern Australian culture. They brought British traditions, skills, humour, and resilience. Many Australians today are children or grandchildren of 10 Pound Poms, often without realising the journey their families once made. Their legacy lives in accents softened by sun, in suburbs built from scratch, and in a nation that grew stronger because people dared to start again. The story of the 10 Pound Poms is not just about migration. It's about courage, about loss and hope, about leaving everything familiar for a future unknown. They came with little more than a suitcase, but they helped build the Australia we know today. This is part of Lucky Country,